All right, we are live. Chapter 3. So, first time we got started with Tableau. By the way, what we're doing today is we're continuing our series about Tableau or using data or understanding data and using Tableau to understand it. So, if you guys haven't gone there, go to this website, and at the bottom, we've shared some of the videos. So, first time we did a little bit of getting started, then we did some building maps, and then Lavanya and Livian shared some of their own exploration with data. They're here with me today. Girls, say hello.
Hello.
Hello, world.
All right, hello world. And today we are just going to see how we don't have any specific topic in mind. We're just going to go ahead and learn some of the things. So we chose the serial data for today's exploration. And which is right here. So we got Tableau serial data that we have opened up. We created a few different pie charts, but today we're just going to open this brand new sheet and try to build a few different visuals. So does anything in here, oh, it looks like I'm opening up another version of the same thing. So let me just go ahead and minimize this. But does any of these things sound interesting for you to create? Which one would you pick?
One of, like, something along these ones?
Something along these lines. So one of these line charts. So for a continuous line chart, let me pause this back. Okay, apologies for that pause. There were some car honking in the background. So one of the line graphs is what they are interested in. So why don't we do this? What would you like the line graph to show you?
What does it really do?
Well, looks like line graph says, hey, we should have a date. Now, this is serial data. Do we have any date information in here?
No.
How do you know that you don't have a field for date here?
Because you don't see one, and also, wait, go back. Can you hover
Yep.
over that? And then it shows the icon.
Okay.
And then if you look at the measures and dimensions, then it doesn't have an icon on that.
That's very cool. So what you're saying is that this icon right here, which is the calendar icon, tells us what a date looks like, but we don't have any of those icons in here, right? We have string fields, we have some numeric fields, but we don't have a date. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to create a date graph for this, at least something that's meaningful. Why don't we pick a different one? Okay, well, area chart, same thing. Area chart also requires a date.
Which ones don't have dates?
What's that?
Which ones don't have dates?
Which one don't have dates? So we can hover over. We can use a tree map. We can do a Gantt.
No,
Again,
it says, for this one, it says date.
that
So we
requires a
can't.
date.
So we can't.
What do you mean?
We can't do that one.
Right, we cannot do that one. That's exactly right.
How about the one above it?
One above it?
It doesn't
Yeah,
really look
dimensions
fun.
and measures.
Doesn't look one.
Should we try that? It's one of my favorite
Sure.
graphs, scatter plot.
Okay.
Is it good?
Okay, what's that?
Is it good?
Is it good? I don't know. I want your opinion on it, if it's good or not. So, scatter plot, it says 2 to 4 measures and some dimensions. So why don't I bring in the name into the detail, the row. I'll just put it here for now. Maybe I want the manufacturer also. So I just have that detail. And tell me 2 measures that you are interested in measuring. What do you think is relevant for you?
The sugar.
Sugar, okay. A sugar like high sugar is good, low sugar is good.
Low sugar.
Low sugar is good. Okay, that's healthier, I guess. What else?
Rating.
Rating. That's great. So which cereals have high rating and still have low sugar? That might be fun.
Well, actually, when I tried doing this, then rating, it didn't really make sense.
No. So for rating, it technically means the higher the number, the higher the rating is.
The higher the number, the higher the rating. So why don't we understand? Again, you had mentioned previously, Lavanya, research about data is important. Let's just see what this information looks like. What if I bring in, and again, if I just want to see the number, I'm going to change that to discrete. We did that before. So ratings are just numbers, and I guess they go from 30, 40, 50, 60, some have 70. And then sugar is the amount of sugar in each serving of the cereal, right?
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. Okay, so let's go back because now we have two measures. Now that we have two measures in a graph, some are sugar and some are rating, and we have the name, do you see that this is a possibility now for us to create? Okay, why don't I click on this and see what this looks like?
Wow.
I'm going to give you a few seconds to look at this graph. I will also turn on labels. Maybe this is not the label I want. Maybe name is what I want on the label. Okay. And I want you to look at the graph and tell me some observations you can make out of this scatter plot.
So there's different symbols for each manufacturer because on the right it has what each symbol means, and then the labels means which cereals are in the label.
Okay, that's a great observation. So each different symbol is showing me the manufacturer. So in fact, this X is going to be this X everywhere if the manufacturer is Nabisco. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure you're right. Okay, Nabisco. That sounds right. Okay, and then you also said the name is the name of the cereal. That's great observation. What about you, Lavanya? Do you have an observation?
So it's put on the graph, like the graph thingy, based on like for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Okay, where is Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Over here.
Okay, right here.
Then it has 9 sugars and 20 ratings. So it's kind of like a multiplication chart. If you want to do 5 times 3, then you take the 5 and then you keep putting your finger down until you get 3 on the other side.
Right.
And it equals 15. But then
The sum is the cereal.
yeah.
Oh, just like the multiplication chart. That's a good observation. But what does this one tell you? Does this tell you that any information about Cinnamon Toast Crunch? That each serving of that has how much sugar?
It has like 9.
9 grams of
Because,
sugar.
on
And
the
how's the
bottom.
rating of this cereal?
It's
19.82.
19.82.
What does it look like if you compare it to the others? Is it high? Is it low?
It's low. It's not that good, I guess.
It's one of the lowest ratings.
Yeah.
If you look at this, what is this axis that you have right here? What does this one tell you?
Rating.
And what does this one tell you?
Sugar.
Okay. Do you know about x-axis and y-axis?
Yes.
Okay. So
No.
which one is x-axis?
Sugar.
Sugar. The one that goes horizontal is the x-axis, and the one that goes vertical is the y-axis. If I look at this data, which cereal would you like to eat and why? I'll start with you, Lavanya. Pick a cereal and tell me why. Pick one. Just point to it.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Go?
Okay? Do you, Olivia, and you want to pick one?
I would pick all bran with extra fiber because it has the highest rating, and then it has not a lot of sugar, so that means it's really healthy. And it doesn't even have any sugar. So
It doesn't even have any sugar, and it has the highest rating. That's awesome. So it's pretty healthy, you're saying?
And then also, there's other ones that have no sugar because there's some under it, but then they are still lower than all bran with extra fiber. So all bran with extra fiber has the highest rating.
That's awesome. So can I ask you a couple of questions about it?
Yeah.
Does it tell you if it's tasty?
No.
It doesn't. So I think you picked a great choice, all bran with extra fiber. But what if it's the taste that you don't like? Where would you might go, Lavanya?
Wait, I have
what
a
do you
question.
suggest?
How come Quaker oatmeal has -1 sugars?
That's a good point. There's a data problem here. That there shouldn't be any negative sugars. That's weird. A good point. So you know what we're gonna do?
Exclude.
We're gonna exclude that data point. We don't need to see that one for now for this analysis.
-1.
Yes, but there's no data point. So the axis still shows you -1. It is just making a little bit extra. So if you see the maximum one over here is 15 grams, but it's going up to 16, just so we don't cut out this data point. And same thing here. The lowest data point is 0, so we're going to -1. Okay? That makes sense? So, Lavanya, you have any recommendations? Let's assume all bran with extra fiber is not tasting so good, but it was a really good healthy choice. What would you recommend? Which direction should she move to? Should she go here? Should she go here? Or should she go here?
Maybe the third one, because it's kind of down, because there's nothing directly to the right of it, but it's kind of down. It kind of slanted down and to the right.
Right, so you're saying it's slanting down as in like it's a little bit extra sugar potentially, let's say Nutri-Grain wheat or some of these ones right here or cornflakes or Cheerios. These are all low in sugar, very low in sugar, but they all have pretty high ratings, right? So what we can do is we can think about that these are a good set of cereals for us to try that are both healthy and hopefully tasty because people rated them pretty high. That makes sense? I'm going to do a couple of things. So what we just learned a little bit is axes. We looked at this XY axis, right? We looked at the scatter plot. But in order for us to make it even more impactful, can we change a few things? Do you have any recommendations? I have some, but I'm going to ask you first. How do we make this easy for people to say, hey, go here, these are the best cereals?
Color.
How do we bring their attention to this top left area?
Color?
Color, that's a great suggestion. So what if I put manufacturer instead of shape? By the way, that shape is what symbol is, okay? So it was already on shape. But if I put it on color, right? This starts looking more colorful. We both know Lavanya loves color. Any other suggestions?
So because some of them they're like covering the others, so then, and also some of them like over here with Lucky Charms and Fruity Pebbles, I see three dots but only 2 cereals.
Right. So what is your suggestion to change that?
So you could, I don't know really, but it's
just an observation.
yeah.
Okay, so you don't have a suggestion or an observation. So why don't we do this? I have a couple of my suggestions. These circles look too small to me, so I would like to make them a little bit bigger. Do you like that better? Right? So when I go to size, it makes everything a little bit bigger. All the marks, not the canvas. So behind us is a canvas, right? And we're putting marks on it, just like drawing. And then what we're doing is we're making each one of these marks a little bit bigger. Okay? That makes sense? You said something about there's multiple data points here that we can't see. So again, what Tableau is doing is automatically hiding the names if it becomes too busy. So if I come into labels, sorry, go ahead.
Is there a way you could space it out a little bit more?
That's a great
But then it
suggestion. Is
wouldn't be
there a
the
way
right-
we could space it out? What's that, Lavanya?
It wouldn't be the right information, because then it's spaced out into a different spot.
No, like the graph is more spaced out.
The graph is more spaced out. Okay, so here,
then the
let's try.
dots are most.
Let's try this. Let's move this manufacturer here. We spaced out a little bit. Okay, it still doesn't show. So what you can do is you can go into labels and you can use this option called allow labels to overlap other marks. So we're saying it's okay to do overlapping. Do you like this?
No.
You don't like that? You like this better?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
then it doesn't show all of them.
It doesn't show all, but you can
could
still
hover.
you can still hover. Okay.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
that's what
single
he's
one you're
doing.
hovering to, you can still see.
Oh, there's tiny bit.
Yeah, you can still hover. Other thing you can do is you can come to any of the data points and you can always say that this particular data point I always want to show. So if I come off of it, right? Did I do it correctly? Maybe not. Let's see. Where did I go? That's mark label. Automatic. So maybe I just need to move it. Yeah, that's what I need to do. So I can click on any one of those, and once I see that data point, I can just move the label. Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's helpful.
But just know that this is not something you can do for like 1,000 data points, right? So a lot of times you can just leave it as is. So that was a little bit of us making this. What we were trying to do was focus people's attention here. So one thing we haven't
Can
learned.
you circle?
Can we do what?
Like circle it?
Can we circle that area? Is that what you're thinking?
Or outline it?
Or what?
Outline it.
Outline it. That's right. You already went to what I was going to show you. We are outlining the area by using what's called annotation. Okay, we are going to take a area, and what do you want to call this area of the chart that you want to highlight?
The good.
Recommended cereals.
Recommended cereals. Okay, and I will fix this, hit OK. And do you see how this one is the data point right here? And how much of the area would you like to cover? Would you want that in the recommended? Would you want these in recommended?
Yep.
All of these?
No.
This?
No.
So tell me, help me
So
go.
maybe like from rice checks to like maybe that, or
Or maybe double checks multigrain Cheerios.
About this?
Yes.
Okay. And so high rating and good taste. So does this look good?
No.
What happened?
it
It
covered it, like made it
covers.
a little faded.
Oh, it made it a little faded. So you know what? We're going to do
Covered.
just a little bit of formatting before we wrap up this. So anytime you look at anything and you want to format it a little bit differently, what does formatting mean?
Like-
The way things look.
The way
or
things look.
are.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we want to format this annotation a little bit differently. So I right click and I go format, and I would like this to be basically maybe just very little transparency. How's that look?
That's
Better.
That's better, but now I don't know which one's recommended,
Oh, never
right?
mind.
So I might need to work on the right.
Or maybe you can shade it a different color,
Oh, I like that suggestion.
but then
So
make
shade
it
this.
less.
And maybe just 10
We'll
or
make it-
20%. Right? Maybe just 10% is good. I can just type it in. This is what's recommended. And maybe I can just put like a nice little boundary to it. Did I not do it right? Line. Oh, border. I'm sorry. This is not what we're doing. Line. I'll show you what line is another time. Or all I need is a border. What about that?
That's good.
That's good?
That's better.
But then it kind of cuts out some names.
It cut out some names. That's fine. We can always make this a little bit.
But then it adds part of.
Yeah, we can make this bigger, like that. Yeah,
But now it has a little bit of 100%.
that's okay. I mean, we're just making people's attention to be here, and then just a few more things. We can simply come in
Is there-
here and say, hey, this should be bigger, right? And maybe it's bold and italics. Maybe go to the right and apply. And these are all the recommended cereals.
Is
Maybe
there-
don't make it go to the right.
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind.
You can move things around. How's that?
Yeah, but is there a way you can make the border bigger?
You mean thicker?
Thicker?
Yeah, thicker, I mean.
Yes, like that, you mean?
A little bit thinner, though.
Little bit thinner. So yeah, so many different formatting
Yeah,
options, right? I can make it come and have it be in the middle. First I chose this. I can choose the kind of line I want. So yes, you could do so many things in Tableau.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That look good?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up this with a quick wrap up of things we learned. So what all did you learn? So Livian, why don't you tell me one thing we learned today?
I learned how to make a border on the
Annotation. Yep.
annotation.
What does annotation help us do?
It helps like focus the attention on something.
It helps focus the attention on something. So we learned annotations, we learned the formatting of annotations, and talked about why we do annotations. Okay, what about you, Lavanya? What all did we learn?
Like when the labels are overlapping, you can make it show and then move the labels to where it's not overlapping.
Yep, you can move the labels. Absolutely. Anything else?
How to
Make a scatter plot.
How to use a scatter plot. So that was my learning, right? So scatter plot quickly helps us focus on certain areas. Because it's an X and a Y axis, I can always say high sugar, low rating, the worst cereals. Which ones are those here? Bottom right.
Like Cap and Crunch.
Cap
maybe.
and Crunch. Yeah, kids, Cocoa Puffs taste so good, but I'm not really sure if that's what we should be eating. Just too much sugar, right? whereas low sugar, high rating, the good cereals for us. That sounds good?
Yeah.
So that's my learning of scatter plot, your learning of formatting and annotations. And with that, let's wrap up our chapter 3. And we'll see you in chapter 4. And again, audience, if you have any suggestions of what we should cover, send us. If not, we're going to pick a topic randomly. All right. Should we say bye?
Bye.
Are you gonna end it?